So today we finally have the Valerion VisionMaster Max, the flagship long throw projector from the same company that brought you the ultra short throws from AWOL Vision. So I'm excited to have it in the house, unbox, show you guys all the features that it has, and even compare it against the Pro 2 that we've already seen, and then wrapping it up with my final thoughts. So when it comes to unboxing the VisionMaster Max, we had a surprise right up on the top, an 8K ultra high speed certified HDMI fiber optic cable. So that's pretty cool because these HDMI cords are not cheap, and when opening this up, I didn't even realize that this is a 40-foot cord, so this is going to come in very useful if you're ceiling mounting this, or if you have a soundbar or theater system where you're going to need this longer HDMI run. So that's pretty cool. Now, I'm not certain that everyone is going to get this HDMI cord, so I just want to put that out there. And then under that, the projector actually came in this beautiful leather-looking box, a very nice touch, which showcased their little slogan on the side, and also showcased the award they won for the Red Dot winner of 2025 on top. And from what I've heard, and actually what I saw at CES, this is a really nice projector with a ton of features. But before we get to the projector itself, we have to take a look in the little accessory box here. You do get a nice little Valerion microfiber cloth. It comes with the power adapter, of course, for the projector, and then a very premium remote that is backlit, which is fantastic for a dark room. And then underneath it is the user manual, which, to be honest, might be the thickest manual I've ever seen. I may have to have Jen come in and read that. She is the best reader in the family. So here is the VisionMaster Max in all of its glory. A very cool looking long throw projector. Of course, we're going to get into the details of how this looks on screen, but visually it's just stunning. A nice black glossy finish to the front, some unique metal slots on the side where those two 12-watt speakers are, and then again on the back, nice and glossy, where you find all the connectivity, including 3 HDMI ports, one of them being the eARC port, so you can connect to a soundbar and sound system like I said earlier, 2 USB ports, an optical output, and a gigabit Ethernet connection, which is 10x the speed of a typical TV or projector. So if this ends up being like the focal point of your home theater, you can hard line in high-speed internet, which is fantastic. And on the bottom, you do have that 1/4-inch mounting bracket, but you also have feet on the back and a little kickstand on the front, which is something that I've never seen on any other projector. I think it's pretty cool here on the VisionMaster series. So all in all, fantastic design, very unique, but let's move on to the product features. Now, obviously, this is a 4K triple laser light source, which boasts 3500 ISO lumen, as well as covering 110% of Rec 2020 color gamut. The VisionMaster Max does have Dolby Vision, HDR10+, IMAX Enhance, and a filmmaker mode. So that sort of hits most of the crucial demands that most viewers would want. On the sound front, you have Dolby Atmos and DTS:X. And as far as viewing experience, you can watch the Max on a screen up to 300 inches and with active 3D. Now, all the stats and all the features are fantastic, but we got to take it into the office so we can show you guys how great it looks and some of the features that go above and beyond what you'd expect from a flagship projector in 2025. So one of the first tests that we have for these projectors once we get them in the office is the auto screen fit, because a lot of the times it's not as easy as you might think, but the Valerion VisionMaster Max popped right into place. It also has auto keystone and auto focus, among other adjustments. It also avoids obstacles upon keystoning, so really great features when you're setting the projector up. But there are 3 features that most flagship projectors do not have, first being a lens shift. So the Max can actually lens shift plus or minus 105%, giving you a lot of adjustability up and down, as well as that 0.9 to 1.5 to 1 throw ratio, which can actually be extended further by adding an external lens that gives you 0.9 to 2.0 to 1 ratio, which allows you to project up to that 300-inch screen size. So that is awesome. It gets absolutely massive. And the last feature that I already got to see at CES 2025 was the adjustable iris that can give you up to 50,000 to 1 contrast ratio with the EBL engaged. So that's a very unique feature as well, giving you fantastic black level controls. So while we're setting it up in the office, it looks great in here, but just knowing you have those added features is something you guys should be thinking about when considering buying one of these flagship projectors that may be a once every 10 or 20 year purchase. Now, these features and specs sound fantastic, but really, to be fair, we have to run it through its paces. So let's start with the Google TV operating system. Now, this is my favorite operating system, hands down. I say it in almost every review, but it's worth repeating. A great combination of apps and shows and programs you can watch with a good amount of kind of suggested content, but not overwhelming you in advertisements. I personally like that it picks up where it left off in other rooms. So if you're in the ecosystem, you can continue right where you left off. Very convenient. The Max also streams via AirPlay 2, Chromecast, and Miracast, and works with Google Home, Apple HomeKit, Alexa, and Control 4. So plenty of connectivity. You also get a variety of free channels with the Google Free Play if you guys are cord cutters. So that's a nice added feature. But for me, jumping into YouTube TV TV and checking out some sports would be the first thing that I would do in my office here. Well, that's a lie, actually. We've already looked at some movies, because how can you have a flagship projector and not check out movies? But the point being with that is we had it in theater mode, and when moving it back to standard mode for sports, it seemed to get a lot more vibrant and colorful. And then we went back into that iris setting and turned it back down to 0, which dramatically increased the brightness in this standard mode. And the result was a much brighter and more colorful image. Great for sports, great for a dark room like this, but honestly, we could even watch this in a brighter room. Let me try that out. Alexa, office light on. So there, that's a little bit of ambient light in this room. Now, it's just one lamp in the back corner, so it's not as if we have 10 different windows in here to make it really difficult on it. But this is what I would consider some minimal ambient light. So I think the picture quality holds up just fine here. You guys might not even be able to notice the difference. I see a little bit of a washout with regards to that light, and this is an ALR, or ambient light rejecting screen. But overall, it looks great. The more ambient light you're gonna add in the room, the more difficult it will be to see on a projector like this, but I think it's doing pretty well. But watching the actual sports, the motion and upscaling look really good. This is a 720p source at best, sometimes even worse, upscaled to this 4K projector, and I think it looks really good on this 120-inch screen. And again, this can go all the way up to 300-inch. Now, I can't vouch for how good it looks on 300 inches because I don't have a screen that big, but it looks great in here. So watching sports, all good, but really this is a movie watching machine, and I think this is going to be the centerpiece of a lot of people's home theaters. So let's check some movies out. So I definitely had it in the wrong picture mode for SDR, but here watching Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Dolby Vision looks fantastic. There's just so much detail to the 4K image here. It's so bright and vibrant, it has fantastic shadow detail, and the clarity of the projector is like perfect. I can see everything. Fantastic overall picture quality, and I think this is just Dolby Vision out of the box. We really haven't even changed any of the settings. Now let's get back to a couple features we were talking about earlier and some new ones. First, the adjustable iris is one of the key features of the Max, and you have the ability to just leave that off or a sliding scale all the way up to 6. Now I did notice when you change it between 5 and 6, it did change quite dramatically, but the goal is to get more shadow detail. Here's a little side by side of what it looks like with it off versus all the way up to 6. So you'll have to let me know what you guys think looks better. Do you want to have the deeper blacks, or you prefer just to have brighter image in general? I think that's kind of what we're going for here. Now, a couple of other features that Valerion is really trying to address is RBE and laser speckle. The RBE happens because of the frame rate and just the colors not aligning perfectly, and some people end up seeing this when they're watching projectors. But Valerion has introduced the RBE reduction, which eliminates 99.9% of the rainbow effect, delivering a seamless, natural image. However, as you can see on the screen, when enabled, it will increase noise from the device, and that is noticeable because overall, the Valerion VisionMaster Max is pretty quiet, but when that RBE is enabled, there is a little bit of a high-pitched noise from the projector, and then when it's actually playing content, it gets a little bit louder. So it's just something to keep in mind, because honestly, the RBE doesn't even bother me, so I'm probably just gonna leave this off. And then another minor annoyance is laser speckle. This is basically a random pattern of light spots that appear when laser light scatters off a rough surface. In this room, I don't really notice laser speckle at all. Now, Valerion VisionMaster Max is working with a cinema-grade RGB laser with up to 3500 ISO and a 14-element all-glass lens. So they have really great hardware, and they're working to reduce the laser speckle and that RBE. Now, when you combine the Max with the new Pure Vision screen by Valerion, you're basically eliminating speckle. When combined with the projector, it achieves double layer speckle reduction. So if you're really sensitive to the laser speckle, consider getting one of these Pure Vision screens. But here in my office on this 120-inch screen, movies look fantastic. So now it's time to talk about the gaming specs. Now, the Max does have 3 HDMI inputs, and 2 of them are HDMI 2.1, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get 4K at 120 frames per second for gaming. But you can get 120 hertz and actually 240 hertz at 1080p. And if you go 240 at 1080, that's going to give you as low as 4 milliseconds input lag. You will only have 8 milliseconds of lag at 120 hertz, but for me, I just prefer to game at 4K 60 because I think it's a good balance of resolution and frame rate. And to be honest, the 15 milliseconds of input lag on the Max is better than a lot of TVs we review. Now, when we were actually playing games and switch the input, it does say 4K 120 right on the screen, but I've been told by multiple people in the know that it just downsamples 4K 120 down to 1080 120. So it does say 4K 120, and it is an HDMI 2.1 port, but there are hardware limitations on these types of projectors that just don't do 4K 120 yet. But in general, great gameplay for a projector, bright and vibrant screen, no noticeable motion issues. So overall, I'm really happy with the 4K 60 on the VisionMaster Max. But let's move on to buying advice. So I think there's no question that the Valerion VisionMaster Max is a flagship of flagship projectors. Fantastic specs, great hardware, it looks really cool. 3500 ISO is already fantastic, but then you add in other features like the ability to lens shift going up and down is pretty cool, as well as the throw ratio being 0.9 to 1.5 to 1, with the ability to exchange that lens out, which I've never seen on a projector before, giving you a 2 to 1 throw ratio, not to mention that adjustable iris to increase the black levels. So all kinds of great features on the Valerion VisionMaster Max, puts it on a short list for one of the best projectors I've ever reviewed. And I've kind of felt and heard the buzz from other creators. It's definitely going to be a hot selling product. But I keep thinking about how impressed I was with the Pro 2, a step down from this VisionMaster Max. I mean, it really had almost all the same features besides that adjustable iris and that lens shift. But it's not the latest version of that RGB laser, nor is it a full glass lens. But when comparing the prices of these two products, I'd at least have to give it some thought. But I think that's just something that people are used to. You're really going to have to figure out what works best for you guys in your price range. I'm going to leave a little QR code in the bottom right here for you guys to scan if you're watching this on a TV, or check the links in the description below for more details on the Valerion VisionMaster products. Let me know what you guys are going to go with. Is it going to be the Max, or is it going to be the Pro 2 or something else? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to smash the like button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys on the next video.